And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truths centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region's #1 consumer advocate, with our goal being to educate, entertain, and helping you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
I want you to pull out your smartphone and save our consumer advocate hotline number in your phone, because at some point you're going to need it. It's 813-917-1894. And if you're not a caller or texter, you can call either way. Text or call our consumer advocate hotline, 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
So let's jump right into this great content. We got a special guest calling in today, Mr. Mayor Kriseman of St. Petersburg. Mayor Kriseman, you there, sir?
I certainly am. How you doing today?
Excellent, wonderful, great place to be here, Tampa Bay, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater.
Yes,
no better place in the nation, in my opinion.
I would agree with you 100% on that.
Yes, sir. So let's jump right into it. A lot of cool things happening, man. I tell you, that vibe of downtown St. Petersburg is hard to beat.
It is unbelievable what's happening in downtown, but what to me is really exciting is it isn't just on Beach Drive. It's on, you go up Central Avenue, and it is heading west. And whether it's in the 600 block, it's in the Edge District or Grand Central, and then you go down 22nd Street, Warehouse Arts District, and the Deuces. This city is alive.
That's right. Yeah, we're real excited to see a lot of good things happening out there. And, the real estate values are appreciating anywhere from, on the lower end of Tampa Bay, we're somewhere around a 4 or 5%, but the higher end, some of these areas are still appreciating 8 to 12%. And, great place to be here in Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater. Let's jump back into a lot of questions. I know there's some things happening, too. We got a new ferry service that's proposed. I think there might have been some money earmarked. What's going on with the ferry service?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we are trying to do a pilot ferry service project that would go from downtown St. Petersburg to downtown Tampa, leaving in the Vinoy Basin area in St. Pete, and in Tampa it would be outside the convention center. I'm trying to put a partnership together with all 4 of the governments that would really be impacted, St. Pete, Tampa, obviously, and then Pinellas and Hillsborough County. And that's really unprecedented in this region. You haven't seen the kind of regional cooperation between governments. I can't remember ever seeing it, actually. And so this would really be, in my mind, a step in the right direction, because our strength is when we are together and united as a region. I don't think there's any better region, not only in the state of Florida, but in the entire country. And so I have been approaching each of the governments and asking them for a commitment of $350,000, which is what it will take for us to bring a vessel down and have it run from October 15th through April 15th of this coming year, of 2016, 2017.
Very cool. Yeah, real excited about that, and I echo your remarks there as well. We've had Tampa Mayor Bob Buckhorn on the show, Clearwater Mayor George Creticus, and our hats are off to all 3 of you guys. You're doing an awesome job working together, and we have such a unique blend of fine dining, sports, athletics, the outdoors, the boating. We love this region, and I know we're competing for intellectual capital is one of the things that we're talking about as well. That competition for that young up and comer, the guys and gals that may have just be graduating from college. We're competing for that intellectual capital.
Yeah, absolutely, and we want them to stay right here. We don't want them to leave, and if they've gone away to school, we want them coming back to right here to our community. And whether it's myself or Mayor Buckhorn or Mayor Creticus, and the 3 of us actually get together for lunch every couple months just to talk about what's happening in our cities and how we can all work together better to continue to grow this area. But I think our quality of life is so good here and is such a draw that we believe we're really creating an atmosphere and an environment for businesses where people want to come back here and they want to open their business and start it here and grow it here.
That's right. Yeah. The absence of a state income tax, the affordability, all the cool things to do, lots of awesome things here as a draw to Tampa Bay. And I guess next up on the talking points list, by the way, if you just joined us, you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. We got St. Petersburg Mayor Rick Kriseman calling in on the phones here today, talking about things happening in the St. Petersburg and the Tampa Bay region here on the beautiful Gulf Coast of Florida. And so the next step, the pier, we've kind of seen what's happening there. What's the long-term vision and the estimated time of that project, do you think, sir?
So we're at that stage right now where really two things are happening. One is visible to the community, and the other isn't. The one obviously that's visible is the demolition process, and the inverted pyramid itself is now gone. But the next steps are bringing the rest of the structure, which is the roadway that led out to the pier, is removing all of that. The part that the community won't be seeing and is what goes on behind the scenes, which is the drafting of the plans, the drawings for the construction of the new pier, the permitting processes that have to go on, and the applications for those permits. And it's in some ways, I hate to describe that part as boring, because I know to those involved in designing and doing those drawings, it's not boring. But to the community at whole, they who like to see something happening, there'll be a period of probably about a year where they just won't see a whole lot of activity, but it doesn't mean we're not doing things. We expect the construction to begin sometime in 2017 and be concluded early 2018.
Excellent. Yeah, and so the other big question mark a lot of people have, it's kind of a conversation as we go around out in the community is what is going to happen with the Tampa Bay Rays?
Well, I know what I hope happens with the Rays, and my hope is that the team stays right here in St. Petersburg. I think we are a great home for the team, and as our demographic has changed, and certainly even in the last couple of years, how dramatically we've changed as a city.
Yep.
I think this is a even more enticing place for them to stay. But like any business, they want to try and evaluate where's the best place for them in this region where they can be successful for the long term. And I'm trying to see what I can do to help them have that opportunity to do that investigation and evaluation. And I'm very convinced that once they have that opportunity, if they have it, they're going to decide that right where they're at and here in St. Pete is the best place where they can be successful for the long term, and baseball will be here forever, we hope.
Yeah, we definitely we love having them here locally, and I think the fear is that if they don't get the right deal, they might leave the region entirely.
Well, and certainly that's a fear that I share. Obviously they sit on a parcel of land that's very valuable. We have 85 acres there, and for a new stadium they only need 15. So even if they stay, I have 70 acres I can redevelop.
Right.
If they were to leave St. Pete, I'd have 85 acres, but I don't want them to leave the region. I believe they are an asset to the region.
Yep.
And whether they're in St. Pete or Tampa, I believe that our whole region benefits from them being here. I know they have been great partners with us here in St. Pete and have, through the Rays Foundation, have had a real significant impact on this community, from their Park Walk and Cheer program, where they give tickets to our police officers that they can then give to kids to help them connect with our kids, to a program that they've got right now where they are helping tutor kids.
Right.
These guys care about this community, and we want them staying here.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the Rays. We love the Bucks. By the way, the Bucks just came out. They're looking for a new coach already. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I saw that this morning, and I was pretty surprised by that, quite frankly. And while I understand, a second losing season, I think Coach Lovie Smith inherited, a significant challenge.
Yeah.
And, you're only, as a coach, if you don't have the talent, it doesn't matter how good a coach you are, it's difficult to win. And, trying to mold what he has and bring in the missing pieces is tough to do in 2 years.
Yep.
And I think we saw improvement.
Yep.
Going from 2 wins to 6 wins is a step in the right direction. I'd like to have seen him get one more year.
Me too.
I think it was a little premature, and having that constant turnover is also not a great sign. And whether it's a professional sports team or it's a school or a nursing home, when you have a high rate of turnover, the results typically aren't great.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought they would give him that third year, and as a former USF football player and many years in playing ball, it's you got to have that camaraderie, you got to have that year after year improvement, and they were headed in the right direction. So sometimes the ownership has different plans in mind, but yeah, I agree with you. We should have gave him a little bit more time to put the puzzle piece together. But we'd like to see if you can hang on one more segment with us here. And we maybe jump into some of the things happening. I know you just took a trip to Cuba last year and kind of talk about some of the free trade, some of those ideas. But we'd love to have you back. If you could stay with us, Mr. Kriseman.
I'm here.
Excellent. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show and realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty. I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Tampa Bay Business Journal multiple times, recognized for innovations with marketing. And we're a consumer advocate here. We're here to help you sort through a lot of the nonsense you hear in the mainstream media, provide you those quality introductions to one of our over 50 show partners, ranging from CPAs, financial advisors, 3 or 4 different types of attorneys. And we've got Mr. Kriseman on the phone, Mayor Rick Kriseman from St. Petersburg. You still there, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm with you, Brandon.
Excellent. Okay, let's jump right back into this great content. Appreciate you calling in. And so, yeah, let's talk about that, the free trade, the ideas that you guys are looking forward to exploring down there with the Cuban trip that you just took.
Yeah, we had a really productive trip down to Cuba a few months ago. Myself, my deputy mayor, the chair of city council, and my chief of staff, along with a couple folks from Tampa, the city of Tampa, that went with us. Al Fox and David Straz and Bill. I can't believe I'm blanking.
Edwards. Bill Edwards.
No, not Bill Edwards.
Okay.
But it'll come to me. Bill
Okay.
Carlson. Sorry, Bill. Bill Carlson.
Okay.
Anyway, we had a great trip to Cuba, and it was really about two purposes. One is to see for ourselves what's happening down there, despite all the rhetoric and and the PR that's been put out over the years about Cuba and life in Cuba and what the Cuban people are like, but also to start building on relationships, because I believe, and I thank the president for the steps that he has been taking to change our relationship with Cuba. We had been doing the same thing for 50 years, and it wasn't working. And I'm a big believer that when it's not working, you got to try something different.
Right.
And I think that, so I applaud the president for the changes he's already made to try and open up Cuba to the American people and American businesses. Although he'll need some help from Congress to do some of that, but we know it's going to happen, and we wanted to start those relationships because we think we have a lot in common with the country, and in particular with Havana. Two great communities surrounded by water whose quality of life is really focused on arts and culture as such a large part of what makes our community here in St. Pete and in Havana so special. So we had some real opportunities to sit down and have high-level meetings from Scott Hamilton in our embassy to Gustavo Machin, who is with the Cuban government, and then getting to meet with some of the Minister of Culture in Cuba and the director of the National Museum, Art Museum there. Incredible experience. And then we recently were able to host 9 delegates from Cuba here in St. Petersburg and share what we're doing and talk about opportunities for exchanges. We'll start because the business end hasn't been completely opened yet, so we'll start culturally and educationally with exchanging artwork and performance art and culture in general, and then educational opportunities.
Yeah, I think so. The more that we can open up trade and allow this, especially this internet, social media world that we live in, it seems like an interesting area to explore. And, it's so close here. Let's make a friend out of our closest neighbor here instead of, it seemed like the relationship that's been there over the last, like you said, 50 years or so.
Well, we treat, we for whatever reason, we have treated Cuba differently than we have treated virtually every other country in the world. And I know there's a lot of talk about human rights, and certainly we'd like to see some changes there. But some of the other folks that we have open trade with are much worse when it comes to human rights.
Right.
And yet we treat them differently than we do Cuba, and that just doesn't fundamentally seem fair or right. And going there, we found the people to be incredibly friendly, incredibly welcoming. They love Americans, but they're also very proud of their heritage and their country.
Right.
We also felt very safe there, so there's, I think, some of those perceptions about every Cuban wanting to immigrate to America. I don't think that's true. I didn't find that to be true.
Right. Well, let's. I wanted to kind of switch gears here, go to a little social media talk here. It's kind of the big elephant in the room here. It was pretty neat to see that the tweet heard nationwide here, worldwide maybe. Any comments on that? The Trump tweet, that was an interesting story.
That really took me completely by surprise, because I never expected to get the kind of response from that tweet that we got, and obviously, it was meant totally in jest. I certainly know I can't ban Donald Trump from coming to my city, but I put it out there because I felt that the comments he had made were so over the top, so ridiculous and offensive, and actually scary, that they deserved an equally ridiculous and offensive response.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to call attention to how ridiculous it was, and I was stunned at how many people actually believed, or at least seemed to, that I thought I could really ban him from St. Petersburg.
Right. Yeah. I heard. I had a lot of the same, dialogue too, as we were kind of discussing that. But I heard you also have some puppies running around over there helping out with the Southeast Guide Dogs. Is that right?
I do. My family. It started back when my daughter had to do a service project for her bat mitzvah. We raised our first guide dog puppy for Southeastern. We are now on our 8th dog that we're raising, and it's an incredibly well-run organization that changes people's lives, whether it's providing dogs to people who are visually impaired, service animals, or their Paws for Patriots program, which works with veterans who may be suffering from PTSD or other physical ailments, and providing them at no cost an animal that gives them freedom and restores their life, gives them unconditional love, which we know pets do. It's been one of the better things that we as a family have had a chance to be involved in, and we love doing it. It's been a real blessing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, the animals and the dogs. It's interesting when you hear the studies about an elderly person that lives with the dog, and the studies. The studies have the proof there. So, Mayor Kriseman, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and appreciate everything you've done for the area, Tampa Bay, and keep up the good work, sir.
Well, thank you, and keep doing what you're doing and being that voice out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you much.
All righty. Thank you.
Have a good one. And so that's Mayor Kriseman here calling into the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Some pretty good dialogue there. Updates for you here in the Tampa Bay region, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater. Really is. We talk about it a lot, but it really is the greatest place in the United States of America to be living.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, stay with us. We're going to be coming back. We're going to jump into our Tell Me Something Good segments. We got some Ask the REQB sessions, questions from social media, and a lot of other great content. And you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
I like that new music. Yeah. All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com, Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate. And let's go ahead and introduce our real estate roundtable discussion here. We just heard from Mayor Rick Kriseman. Great interview there. Some great content. And so let's go ahead. And this segment is brought to you by my health team. I got to give shouts out to Adrienne Falcone Godsell. She's a personal, holistic healing chef. She's known as the Food Whisperer on Facebook. And she does a great job providing these awesome meals for me. And organics, chickens, quinoas, all these awesome meals that she brings each week. And also shouts out to Michael Vogt. He's an expert massage therapist right there at the Gun Highway intersection of Del Mabry. Back in Health Massage is his company, and reach out to Michael Vogt or check him out on our website as well. All of our expert contributors can be found on our website at realestateradiotampa.com. And also, we want you to program our hotline number in your phone for any consumer advocate, real estate credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, property management, insurance needs that you may have. 813-917-1894. So let's go around the horn here. Let's introduce our expert contributors in studio. We got Jeremy Wolons back in studio, JW Assurance.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm glad to be back. It's been a minute. I haven't been here in a bit, so I'm glad to be here. Talk a little bit about flood, what's happened this year, and what we're looking forward for 2016, and looking forward to a good show.
That's right, yeah. And also the director of special events and fundraising did a great job last year also, man. Want to congratulate you on the air for all the hard work you put in there, helping us with the Children's Cancer Center and, affording us an opportunity to MC that event. So thanks for all your help with that, Jeremy.
You're welcome. Looking forward to some more this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And also back in studio, repeat offender back in studio, Mr. Matt Fonk, Cavalier Estates LLC, property management expert.
That's right, man. It's been almost last year I was here. It's been a while.
It hasn't been a year, though.
No, but it was last year.
Yeah.
A few things on deck. I'm just going to talk a little bit about how to make sure your real estate stays up to date and works best for your portfolio to provide you the income you need.
That's right. Yep. And these guys are on our published book now, also co-authors of this book here, the Real Estate Quarterback's Consumer Advocate Playbook. Yeah, we all have a copy. You'll see this. You can have links on our website if you want to purchase a copy. We're having a book signing coming up in February as well.
Mine's autographed.
There you go. He's going to autograph it for you. And also in studio, my lovely co-host, Miss Danielle Berg.
Thank you, Brandon. I have some great questions today for the Ask the Real Estate Quarterback segment. And I have a cool story for the Tell Me Something Good. So you're going to want to listen in for that.
Yeah, check us out on social media. We're on all the social media sites. Do us a favor, too. If you listen to our content, you like what we're doing, it really helps us a lot. If you can go on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.com/REQB show, and subscribe on YouTube also. We put out a lot of great content on YouTube. These are consumer advocate tips, things to do, things to avoid. We interview all of our expert contributors in a separate studio up at the Tampa Bay Multimedia Studio. Mr. John Gaston and Josh and the guys help us out with extra content. So we're putting out a lot of extra content. We want to subscribe. We want you to subscribe, rather, and check us out. And also, the hub of all of that is at realestateradiotampa.com. Before we jump back into this great content, I want to touch on a couple of hot listings here. I got a brand new beach park listing here in beautiful South Tampa. It's 414 South Royal Palm in Tampa, Florida, here in the 33609. Now, this is a 4-bedroom, 3 and 2-bath property, and it's $1.295 million. A great opportunity. It's a distinguished South Tampa Beach Park home, will appeal to someone with discerning taste, and it steps away from Swan Park. This is a historical type property at 414 South Royal Palm Way in beautiful Beach Park area of Tampa, South Tampa here. Also have another South Tampa property past this one on the way of driving down West Shore Boulevard. It's at the corner of West Shore and Browning, and it's 4702 West Browning Avenue in the 33629. Now, this is a $499,000 property in Sunset Park, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and it's just listed Southern Contemporary Style home. Now, this is a fixer-upper. It might even be a teardown, but a lot of the properties surrounding are million-dollar properties, multi-million-dollar properties. And 527 Cloverleaf Drive in Lithia, Florida, $2.1 million property. Actually, we just reduced that by $25,000, so it's just below $2.1 million. 3-bedroom, 2-bath property. The majority of the value of this property is in the 52 acres of land that you have here at 527 Cloverleaf Drive in Lithia. Owners are motivated, want to make something happen. So reach out to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and let's jump right back into this, Jeremy. Things happening in the insurance area, flood. What's going on there, man?
Yeah, with flood, this past year we had some changes to the rates back on April 1st. There was an average of 15% increase and plus a surcharge. So the surcharge affects primary owners. If you're a primary home, $25, not much. But if you're a non-primary, if you own rental property, multifamily units, and it's in a flood zone, you're looking at a $250 increase. So on top of that 15, 18% range, it can dramatically change that policy premium. Going forward this year from 2016, which took effect in November 1st, is they want to, it's called NFIP, Building Use Questionnaire, and what they're trying to do is find out homes that are not primary homes. And by getting these policy owners to fill out these questionnaires is going to cause, if it's a non-primary, it's going to cause an increase come this spring of 2016. Good
question for you, because I got those in the mail, and it looks like some paperwork. And these days, there's all these scams out there. We had our accounting partner, Tom and Ron from Brace Accounting, talking about the IRS scams happening this time of year. So let's speak to that. This is a good consumer advocate thing. We're going to get mail in the mailbox. It's going to say what?
There's going to be a questionnaire in there. As far as the gist of the questionnaire, it's a few things that they've had in the past is it's going to have, you need to have proof of residence. So whether it's your license has your address on it, utility bill, taxes, something that shows that you're proof that you live there. Those at least won't be affected. So yes, it's very important if it's your primary home to get those questionnaires filled out, because if you don't, then you're going to be impacted by this increase.
You got to respond and get back in. Okay. Yeah, that's good nuggets of advice there.
Yeah.
And so Matt, what else you seeing out there? Matt Fonk, Cavalier Estates LLC, property management expert, partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show.
Well, I was on a call with a bunch of old-time guys that really know what they're talking about, been around 20, 30, 50 years in the investment side of real estate and single-family homes and multifamily homes. And in a nutshell, nobody's got a crystal ball, but they were talking about things with rental properties. And, if you got bad houses and that aren't really producing, it's a good time to probably exchange out of them since things are kind of selling. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen. Market seems to be playing some games today with China doing what they're doing. But you've got, you can do a 1031 exchange out of a property into another property and, put yourself with a nicer home that's less maintenance and less management intensive if you're doing some self-management. And, one of the other things that was mentioned is if you can get your houses free and clear, we're seeing that rents have gone up.
Right.
The problem is the net on the bottom is not going up with it. So if the rents went up 50%, the net to the owner is only going up 20%. And it's so having a house that's free and clear, you don't have to worry about raising rents too much, because what happens is you raise rents, tenants move, or when tenants do move, on average it does cost anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 per house to turn it. That includes downtime, rent, and that sort of thing. Well, if you can keep that tenant in there for longer than 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and you never have to turn a house, great. But if you raise the rent up $200 or $50 every couple of years, and it goes up, and they move, and you're having to constantly put in tenants, you're going to lose. So if you can be in a position with no mortgages, you have to pay flood if you don't want to, unfortunately, but you get below that, and you don't have to raise rents to cover these increasing type expenses. So that's, try to get free and clear with your rental properties if you can.
That's a good point. And, Matt Fonk, he's an expert at helping out landowners. If you have a property that you want to rent out, he's an expert in that space. He's got over 150 doors or so, I think. Last we talked at off air here, that he's helping property owners manage those properties. And, so if you're in a position where you're tired of being the landlord, you want to reach out to Matt Fonk, Cavalier Estates LLC. Now, shifting gears, also talked about the rents rising. Harvard did a study talking about the rents rising, and one of the things that we want to do as a consumer advocate for our listeners, let's go ahead and get an offer squeezed in here. I want to do a rent versus own analysis for you for the first 5 listeners who text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying. What we're going to do is we're going to create this comparable market analysis. A rent versus own analysis, and we're going to break down the amount of rent that you're paying versus the amount of mortgage that you could be, enjoying, the equity buildup, the paying down of a mortgage, the tax write-offs and incentives that you have. And so let's go ahead and do that for the first 5 listeners. Text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to our hotline at 813-917-1894. Text RENT to 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Call or text, either way. Call or text, and we're going to, put you in touch with our mortgage partners. They're going to complete these rent versus own analysis, break down those numbers for you side by side so you can see, this is the year to make a change. This is the year to live a better legacy for your family. So yeah, a lot of good things happening out there. Danielle, let's go ahead and squeeze in one of our Ask the REQB questions if we can. We got 2 minutes here.
Okay, Jeremy, this question's for you. I am currently renting, and the owner of my unit already carries property insurance. Will my belongings be covered if something happens?
No, they will not. In most cases, when it's a rental property, the owner of that property doesn't have contents coverage. And if they do, it's at a minimum, because the only thing that's in there that's really a content of their personal contents is the appliances. And if they did have more coverage, it still wouldn't be applied to the tenant. So the tenant needs to get what's called an HO4 or renter's policy, and that would cover their contents. And it also would give them more liability. So if anything would happen, if they got sued, then there would be a layer of protection there in the event that somebody could come after them or their money. So, yeah, no, they're better off. They need to get another policy to make sure that they're covered for their contents.
Awesome.
Excellent. Yep. Let's squeeze in Matt's if we can. We got about a minute.
Matt, I have several rental properties. I'm noticing that some of my tenants are having guests that are living with them full time who are not on the lease.
Fun.
What can I do to prevent this?
They need to give them a 7-day notice to cure. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but you can hire a lawyer to help you out if you want to. But a 7-day notice to cure, follow the rules exactly as it's stated on the Florida statute. And, if they don't correct it, then you can file for eviction. It's a very tough deal to deal with because you got to prove they live there. And if you're going to park yourself out there for more than 72 hours, if they're allowed to stay for 72 hours, you're going to check the medicine cabinet, see if their meds are in it. How do you know they're actually staying there or not? I'm dealing with this right now in a situation, and we can't prove that they got extra people. It's just, I'm not going to camp out there for 72 hours straight, keep my eyes on it. So good luck with that. But, hey, I just want to real quick want to mention, I'll give 10 books away.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's get that in the next segment. We're coming up on our first break here. And but we'll get that in. Let's give some books away. Matt's got an offer for you, so you got to stay tuned to get that. Take us up on that offer. And we're also going to say 4 reasons 2016 is the year to buy a home. So it's an interesting article out of CNN Money for the new year here. Let's go ahead and set some new goals here for the 2016. Things happening here around the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Real excited. We got a nationally televised TV show coming out. I do on a personal note, and looking for a lot of positive and things happening here. So come up for our Tell Me Something Good segment coming up. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. RealEstateRadioTampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, former USF football player. Go Bulls, finished up strong. Nice season. Coach Taggart's got us back on track. And shouts out, this segment is brought to you by the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. Come in, and 4 fine folks are in and out. They let you know who was there and the time frame, and they're in and out, and they do a great job. And so shouts out to the Maids, referred for a reason. Also, Hula Bay, it's our official restaurant partner. We limo to lunch every day once we record our show over to Hula Bay. It's our official restaurant partner, and shouts out to Tampa Limo and Car as well, Roberto Gonzalez over there. And before we jump back into this great content, we've got Jeremy Wolons in studio, JW Assurance, Matt Fonk, Cavalier Estates LLC, and co-host Danielle Berg. More from our experts in studio. I want to touch on a couple of hot listings I've got here. I've got 14708 Camp Mack Road in Lake Wells. This is a $799,000 property. Beautiful property. It's gated. It's on the Kissimmee River, and it's a true gem that awaits your enjoyment of captivating views. We got 521 Rimini Vista Way in Sun City Center. This is a beautiful property as well. Looks like a model home with a golf course view. $530,000 for this 3-bedroom, 3-bath property that is over 3,000 square feet. And we also have a new listing here. It's a vacant land parcel. We got vacant land. We've got commercial properties. We've got residential properties, and also off-market opportunities for you investors out there. We want you reaching out at realestateradiotampa.com and also checking us out at our hotline. You can call or text 813-917-1894. That's our consumer advocate hotline. So let's go ahead and jump into our Tell Me Something Good segment. Now, we put this segment together because there's so much negativity out there and sensationalism in the mainstream media. You know, they're going to sensationalize these stories. There's a lot of geopolitical things happening out there, but we want to be different and tell you something good here. Tell me something good. All right, so Georgia boy gets a prosthetic limb and trips to Disney World. This is a great story out of Bay News 9 here. It says Jackson Lewis, he's 9, and he was born with a rare disability that's left him with no leg, a shortened right leg and an arm. And Jason, while he's awaiting his new limbs, his Medicare coverage got canceled. So he loves football, and it's an interesting story here. It says Support for Center for Children donated $70,000 to cover his remaining cost of Jackson's prosthetics, which he got through Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Tell me something good. Jeremy.
Me? All right, so I got to tell you something good?
Tell me something good.
I just saved 15% on my car auto insurance. No, on a serious note, though, I just wanted to let everybody know about our event that we had with Wine, Women, and Shoes. We also had a separate event that the Real Estate Quarterback Show helped get the Soul Men involved. And if you go next year as a woman and go to the event and help our fundraising, you'll be able to see what a Soul Man is. But a Soul Man, there was a group of us guys that were there to wine and dine the women, and we raised over $9,000 just from that part of the fundraising. But I believe the Wine, Women, and Shoes event, we're still waiting on accurate numbers right now, but it was over 100,000.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't know more about the Children's Cancer Center, they're a great fun charity. They're 100% proceeds go to the children and helping the families. So it doesn't go to research; it goes to actually helping their needs. So
yeah, that's the big difference. Helps them cope during those times, and awesome stuff. Tell me something good.
Well, I just want to comment, last year, 2015, was a stellar year for a lot of cancer research, specifically melanoma. My mom's got it and came back. She had it 5 years and was clean, and she's got it a couple spots they're dealing with. But the new procedures is going to more of a immune therapy type system versus the chemo and that, and it's less evasive on the person. And just nice to see that things are really starting to strive. And it's not just one or two that have come out. There's a few that have actually come out that are proven to allow the person to live a better, longer life.
Yeah.
It doesn't take the cancer away, but it's definitely given better quality of life. So
yeah, that's awesome. The research that these hardworking Americans are putting in, the hard work and time, and that's awesome. Tell me something good.
This story is kind of interesting. 52-year-old Sear Vogel, also known as Tarzan, broke the 75-year record of most miles ridden on a bike in a year's time frame. He rode his bike 200-plus miles a day for the course of the year throughout several states, and he ended up breaking the record here in Florida at Flatwoods Park. The previous record was 75,065 miles, which was made back in 1939.
Very cool. Awesome. Tell me something good. All right, local military couple surprised with a $30,000 wedding. This is an interesting story as well, and it says Staff Sergeant Chris St. Onge and his fiancée, Samantha Delibrian, got a surprise of a lifetime Wednesday morning. The couple was named the winners of this year's Old Mickey's Farms Mission, and I do, and which gives $30,000 dream wedding to a local military couple. I couldn't think of a better way to give back to the people who keep us safe, said the farm's owner, Ralph Zuckerman. So awesome. I love our community. They come together, this Tampa Bay, St. Pete, Clearwater, Sarasota, Bradenton. This whole Gulf Coast region is the best place in the United States of America to be at. When you couple in the affordability, the pricing, the beautiful weather we have. And so, also shouts out to HomestringUSA.org, giving away mortgage-free properties to veterans. We're part of that program as well, as is the Real Estate Quarterback Show and Platinum MVP Realty and Warwick Dunn Charities. Can't say enough about Warwick Dunn.
Warwick Dunn. Warwick spins to the 10. He's to the 5. 4-2. Touchdown.
All right, so 2016, we kind of teased this story. 4 reasons why 2016 is a year to buy a home. So there's 4 different reasons we're going to go through here. Number 1, home prices will finally calm down. Real estate values have been on the rise, but they're likely to level off 3.5%. And, it's regional numbers there are going to vary. But, in this area, we're really safe. I think Tampa Bay's gone up around a 5.5%, 6% over the last couple of years. So a great place to, put your money is real estate. Number 2, it says more homes will hit the market. We've been suffering from a lack of inventory. We've had low inventory for a long time. So we're going to have more homes hit the market this year. A lot of experts are predicting that. It says dirt cheap mortgages could disappear. We've already talked about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. They raised the overnight lending rate, which affects auto, home, boat loans, and more importantly, mortgage financing rates. So that is going to increase over this year as well. And the rents will still hurt. The rents are rising, like we just talked about with Matt. The rents are rising. So let's squeeze in our lightning round here. All right, top consumer advocate tips, things to do, things to avoid. Jeremy Wolons, JW Assurance, our insurance partner. What's going on?
Well, I'm going to read the last word from my chapter in our new book.
There you go. Go ahead.
The do's and do nots.
Okay.
And it's number 2, do not trust companies or individuals knocking on your door looking for work. Make sure anyone working on your home is licensed and insured contractor.
That's a good one. Yeah. That's excellent. Matt?
Well, I can't agree with that more. In real estate and property management, make sure you just deal with, upscale property management. If you're not and you need one, call me. Because they're going to protect you from unlicensed property repair people.
That's right.
And so forth,
so. And Matt, you wrote your book. You got your book out. You're going to give away some copies?
Yeah. I'm going to drop my phone and give away some copies. I'll give away 10 copies. Anybody texts in. It's not printed up yet, but it's on its way. And it's called Property Management by Matt Fonk. Don't let your house crush you.
All right, and so reach out to our consumer advocate hotline at 813-917-1894. Text the word book to 813-917-1894. Matthew Fonk's going to give you his latest and greatest book.
I'll autograph it, too.
He's going to autograph it for you. Danielle, you got a consumer advocate tip?
Yeah, it's the same one as always. Get pre-approved. Go to your bank, talk with them, find out how much you can afford before you go shopping around for your home.
Yeah, that's great nuggets of advice there. A lot of times you want to reach out to get your credit improved as well. We got William Crawley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician, going to help you improve your credit. Again, I want you to think of this show as the hub of your financial wheel. Over 50 show partners now, ranging from CPAs, financial advisors. We've got 4 different types of attorneys on our professional partnership, solar technologies, you name it. If it's real estate business related, we're going to have expert contributors for you. We've just added a painting partner as well, Dave Bodner with Bodner Painting. But hey, another great show. I want to thank all of our listeners and our viewers out there. I want to remind you our TV shows on This TV Tampa Bay, and it's on Bright House Channel 630, Verizon Channel 463. A lot of cool things happening around the Real Estate Quarterback Show. And we got a lot of momentum. We're looking for real estate agents to add to our growing team. We're looking to go into other markets, Bradenton, Sarasota, Fort Myers, Port Charlotte, Lakeland as well. So let's reach out to the Real Estate Quarterback Show and check us out at realestateradiotampa.com.